used to working with web pages, they're going to be really comfortable with working with how this works as well. Users can navigate across different applications, so you can have a link that drops from one application into another application and chain those back and forth. We'll talk about some of the consequences of that in just a little bit when we talk about the application lifecycle. But they can actually move across. There's no need to stay inside that app. You can actually move across. And actually, when you're doing some of those pieces that we talked about, like the choosers or the camera tasks, you're actually moving from one application to the other, and they actually know how to talk back and forth to each other. Previous application pages are on the stack, so just like you would with a web page, you've got a history that you can walk back on. You can actually save that state. You can actually know where the user's going and do a lot of those kind of things. It makes it pretty easy to work with your app itself and figure out where your users are going. So when you're working with the phone itself, there's a lot of familiar web concepts that you'll be looking for. The application itself, UI is represented as XAML pages connected into the flows by URIs. Just like your web app. You're used to using HTTP resources by URIs, same thing. You go back and forth. Here's the page. Instead of an HTML page, you're going to a XAML page, but all the flowback's the same. You're actually working with those things in a very, very familiar way. That shell frame requests pages, renders UI, and does all the things that we would traditionally say on the back end. The web browser itself requests the resources, renders them, handles the navigation, puts all that in place. So that's kind of that back end. That's where you actually do the, if you're doing you want to set the page back, or you want to do some various things around that XAML that's happening, that's what you're doing there. And then the sessions themselves in the back stack groups together those pages. You can actually have different functionality. If I was doing a data entry series of pages, a wizard to put things together, I can actually group those together and know what those sequences are, and know when it starts and when it stops. I can actually see how far they've gone through it. I can actually roll them back and forth